Ladies and gentlemen, I am Alexander, and you are watching the Be Strong YouTube channel. Today's video is sort of like a... why is it going dim? There it is. Oh yeah. Today's video is a formal introduction about myself, why I'm here on YouTube and what the purpose of all this is. Who is this guy and why is he on my screen? So I'm starting my own business, which is something I've never done before. So while brainstorming ideas for the business and how to build one and, you know, publicity and social exposure and stuff, vlogging my experience as a new business owner and a martial artist came up as a great idea. The more I thought about it, about vlogging and YouTubing, I got more excited, and the more sense it made. Because in a world where social exposure and social media can mean the difference between a company thriving or failing, it makes sense to maybe diarise my experiences on a week-by-week basis. And perhaps someone will maybe see these videos and perhaps it'll help them in their business ideas and their business ventures, because if this blithering idiot can do it, anyone can. He says, failing to create any brightness. I need like a flash or something for that camera. I started Taekwondo when I was 8. Then after 6 years and a stint in a different country, I came back to England and joined the English Contact Karate Association. After about 6 years under the tutelage of Sensei Dev Barrett, I became introduced to a martial art that I fell in love with, Jeet Kune Do. About 14 years later, I am now a black belt in that martial art and an instructor. So the next logical step is to teach my own students, impart my experiences, and maybe help people in whatever way I can. So after months and months of mulling over exactly what I'd need to start my own club, I finally sorted out a name for the club, organised a location for the classes, and Be Strong Martial Arts Limited was born. So came the research. What I needed to start a business here in the UK, and this made 2 lists. We've got the necessary requirements and the discretionary requirements. Discretionary. Why am I saying that? Sounding it weird. Discretionary. There we go. Nailed it. So let's go over the discretionary needs of what exactly I need to run a class and teach people. Very easy. So after first coming up with a name for the business and the club, which is what actually held me off opening the class sooner, because it takes ages to actually come up with a name for a club. It took me a lot longer than I thought it would. I had to start creating my own logo, and once I'd made the name, the logo idea actually came to me pretty quick. The only thing I needed to do was actually go out and, you know, look over social media and Google the company name and stuff like that, to make sure I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. Even though it's a B, you'd be quite surprised at how many people actually have a B as a logo. But thankfully, I didn't really come across any. There were 2 pages that I came across, and the logo is completely different. The name, the logo, and the wording is completely different, so I was more than happy to get started on that. Next, we've got equipment. So I need t-shirts, belts, gloves, pads, weaponry, and floor mats. If you've seen the video I posted before this one, I got a good amount of equipment to get started. Equipment is in the discretionary list because I don't actually need equipment to teach someone martial arts or how to throw a punch or how to defend themselves. I don't need it. But like cream and jam in a cake, you don't need the cream and jam, but it certainly helps for the cake, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. T-shirts are still needed. Belts are a long way off. I've come across some Some clubs actually have like elastic bands, coloured elastic bands, which are pretty cool, but I find that they snap. And if you're like me, you sort of want to keep them as like a memento of your past experience and what you've done. I've seen people where they've got the belts in a picture frame, like white and so on, which I think is a pretty cool idea. But I have come across a pretty cool idea. I'm not going to share it now, but we'll see where it goes. Floor mats. For the first couple of months, we're not going to be going on the floor. There is a lot of takedowns and a lot of stuff that I can do and teach, but for now, for the first couple of months, I just want to make sure that people are moving in the right way. Let's get the basics done and dusted. Just want to make sure that people can throw a punch right, can throw a kick right, before they start dashing each other on the floor. Now comes the necessary requirements, the boring red tape, the bureaucratic drivel, the admin, the paperwork. And these are as follows, in no particular order. Remember, these are necessary requirements here in the UK, so if you're over abroad watching them, your requirements may be different. So yeah, just take a look. It's quite easy to find that out. You just Google, our Lord and Saviour Google. So we've got a certificate from a martial arts association that recognises you as an instructor and you're capable to instruct. I've got that. Tick. Then there's companies, registering with Companies House, which is a governmental website. There's a first aid certificate, a DBS check, just to make sure that you've not been a naughty boy in the past and that you're legally able to teach kids and stuff. We need a bank account, a business account that helps us keep track of tax, what comes in, what goes out. It's more of a tax thing for that. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been working on that. It took me 4 hours to register the business with Companies House, which was a terrific way to spend a Friday evening. Gained the insurance, public liability insurance. That was a doddle. I think it took me about 20 minutes. Easier. Especially once you've registered the company. You register the company and then you get the insurance because you'll need it under the insurance name. No, business name. Insurance under the business name. Words are hard. There are 2 things I am still missing though. We've got the DBS check and the first aid certificate. For the moment, the DBS check comes in behind the first aid certificate for me, simply because I'm not going to be teaching kids. And if there are any kids coming to the club, their parents are going to be told, stay here, do not go anywhere. There is maybe 2 teenagers coming, but their parents are actually attending the club as well and they're taking part. But that's definitely going to be, it's definitely on the priorities list. The next thing I don't have is the first aid certificate. The location of where I'm teaching the classes are in a pub function room. It's a temporary thing, but for now it's going to be run from there. As maybe a lot of people that work in pubs now actually have first aid certificates, so that helps me. But it's still on the first priority list. So I'm going to get that in the next couple of months. Yeah. So now it's been registered and insured. The business is underway, which is insane. I even received a letter in the mail. It's an authentication code, and it tells me that I have now been designated You've now been appointed director of Be Strong Martial Arts Limited, which is insane. I feel like an adult. I'm a director of a company. La-di-da. My first class is actually starting tomorrow evening, March the 2nd, 2026, which is wild. I'm going to be teaching my own classes in a professional, official capacity. I've lost loads and loads of sleep. Because of that as well, my training has sort of taken a bit of a dive. but I am still training. A little bit more about me. I have a full-time job, so me running this business isn't actually a full-time job. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to the gym at 6. I start work at 8, finish at around 5, and then about 3 times a week I go off and do more training. So running this business takes place outside of my professional career. We're really fully utilising our 24 hours of the day. Well, say 24 hours, I'm spending about 4 of them hours rolling around in bed, losing sleep, thinking, overthinking. Nonsense, the nuisance. Anyway, whilst getting everything ready for the business, over the past couple of months I've been attending jiu-jitsu classes, which I want to speak on about more in the future. I'm also intending on going back to kickboxing, the Karate Association. I left unintentionally when I achieved my purple belt, so I'm only 2 belts away from getting my black belt. I've been in quite close contact with Sensei Dev Barrett since then, over the past 14 years, so it's not like I just up and vanished on him. I've been around. The Jeet Kune Do classes I go to are actually in the same dojo as the Kickboxing Association, or Karate Association. So I've been around. He knows I'm intending on going back, and that's coming next month. So it's going to be about 2, maybe 3 years before I get my black belt in that. It's just for my own benefit. I can kickbox with the best of them. I hope. He says with no sense of confidence. So I'm going to be going back into that, and I want to speak a bit more on that in future videos. So this is going to be the structure of the YouTube channel for now. Obviously, with everything, it'll evolve as time goes on. I'll hopefully have a better setup. The camera, I don't know why, won't actually zoom out away from me, so you're getting a very close profile to me and my face. As gorgeous as that is, I imagine we don't really want to be this close. Sound also is better sound, so you can hear my voice. It also needs improving. Also trying to figure out an intro as well. I have had a couple of offers to create an intro for me, so I might take them up on that offer. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, I'm intending on uploading a video every week on a Sunday, just to go over my experiences of that week, what it's been like running the classes, writing the classes, running the business. I'm also intending on maybe recording a few classes here and there, going into my own training and what it's been like being a teacher, of what I've learned, the do's and don'ts, the ups and downs and all that jazz. Jazz. Why does my voice sound different when I'm speaking to this? It shouldn't be this weird to record yourself. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Peace!